We definitely want to have a special guest live on air today. Arturo, the Survivor, and we want to definitely send a special warm. Yes, today is gonna be topic is NBA drama. A lot of different things that's happening in the NBA. A lot of different characters we're gonna talk about today. Yes, NBA drama. We're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about Draymond. We're gonna talk about Josh Giddey. We're gonna talk about how the NBA has become very soft. We're gonna talk about a little bit about the GOAT conversation today, but I don't think anybody will be able to convince me on the GOAT conversation because there's only one GOAT in basketball for me, and that's Michael Jordan. There's no discussion in that for me. There is only one greatest of all time, Michael Jordan. Yeah, we're going to touch on the topic of Draymond. Yeah, so we're talking about how the NBA has changed over the last couple of years. Really a institution that was really strong and tough at one time, but now to the level of tenderness you have to hold. These guys that call themselves uh, tough guys, you get a little rough with them. Start crying to the referee. I don't know. Soft society we live in today. Sickening. Mm. Yep. So the era of change is here. The era of time. One of the greatest to ever do it, Michael. We want to really bring back, the toughness. Talk about them good old days. That gravel in your gut. Okay. Finally. Oh man.
I know. I was like,
I was
Danny.
thinking for a minute there that you were canceled, man.
No. I just, you know what? I don't have WhatsApp set up on this phone on my business.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I don't
okay.
have it set up, so I had to take a second to set it up and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I actually have a buddy of mine. He has a really hard time of coming on here too, man. They're really. He has a channel of KOJ. He has a channel of his own. Man, YouTubers doing a number on him, man. They don't like him at all.
Really?
They're trying to bring him down, man. The robots behind the machine trying to bring him down, man.
Oh, he's just revealing a little too much information. Is that what it is? Is he?
Yeah, this is Godly True TV. We present today. We want to talk. We want to introduce. Um, I call you. The survivor. That lion. That refused to die. Yeah. That's really my name for you. I want you to introduce yourself, and I also want you to, introduce your store, your business, and what you do there, and then, we're gonna go into our topic for today.
uh, so let me throw the light on because it's a little dark. I'm coming a little. Maybe this helps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys. So I own a shop. It's called Companda Smart Shop. Um, what I am is I'm trying to introduce CBD on its own platform, and it's not a dispensary or a smoke shop. And CBD is such a great product for pain relief. No side effects. It's non-psychoactive. No, again, going back to the no side effects. It's just a natural plant, and even though it's related to cannabis, it's related by 0.03%. So it's hardly a blip on the radar in terms of what it can do for you, to you, and if it's not going to get you high. That's the bottom line. And it's interesting because Major League Baseball has it now as of last season. Um, they're off. What they're using is they're using it because it's better. It is better than cortisone. Again, cortisone is side effects with some folks, and it's very much of a band aid. It's just numbing the area, whereas CBD sinks into the receptors in your body, which is called endocannabinoid receptor. And CBD is an acronym for cannabinoid. I think the math is pretty simple. So I wanted to create a platform to introduce sports gels, hand balms, which is just something for the hand, vitamin E, shea butter, coconut, with full spectrum CBD, and then the tincture to put under your tongue. So yeah, it's great. I started this 2 years ago. I've been in one mall. I'm in another mall, and I'm in the Enfield Square Mall, to be exact. I used to be in the Eastfield Mall. If everyone knows what's going on with the Eastfield Mall, it was sold and it's been knocked down. Right now, it's flat. It's interesting to see it that way. Just but however, it's going to be a strip mall in 2025. So they have plans to revamp the area. And the mall that I'm at now, there's talks of it being sold as well. And so I was like my wife says, you jumped out of the frying pan right into the fryer. I mean, into the fire. So it's just like and I thought I did enough research to find out that there were some intricacies involved between the town and the owners that I didn't know about.
Mhm.
But aside from that, my platform is designed for, and it's bricks and mortar. I haven't put together a website. I know folks are like, "What are you doing, man?" By today's standards. I know, I get it. I really come from old school, and I really felt
Mhm.
bricks and mortar was going to be um, the foundation that would segue nicely into a website, because people would know exactly of a place. Because I just felt that there's, websites are a dime a dozen, and that
Mhm.
bricks and mortar helps to um not only solidify but give it the credibility as well. And it makes sense if you have bricks and mortar to have a website. I was thinking where it would pick up. So if you guys locally are in the area, if you're watching this at all, if you ever buy, the mall is not dead. There's a lot of us small businesses that you've never heard of that's in there now. Yeah, I know that Victoria's Secret is gone and Bath and Body Work is gone and
Heard
Sinmark
of
left.
that's in there now. Yeah, I know that.
Sinmark left December 7th, and it's just the major retailers are going. The building is still there until further notice until they decide or they say it's sold and it's. But I believe all malls are going to turn out to be strip malls. So, but aside from the doom and gloom guys, who's ever heard of a presentation like this before? But I'm putting it on the table because that's what's going on. I mean, aside from what I'm trying to offer, which is fantastic, I'm very much guerrilla about it, guerrilla marketing, I should say, about it. Where, as you know, I do Uber and Lyft, so I'll meet folks, and if I come across someone that I see that looks like oh wow, I think this person should know about this, then I'll share it with them. And so far, the age demographic has been more older folks. But it doesn't negate the younger guys now because, like I said earlier, this thing's in Major League Baseball. And so this thing really reduces inflammation. It's phenomenal product, so it's something to really look into anytime. Even if you're roughhousing, and you got a Charlie horse, or you're moving furniture and you throw your back, or you're playing ball and you think you can cross over like you used to when you were 20, or 15 years old, and you do something. This sports gel, full spectrum CBD, will help reduce pain. Now, it's not designed for the battlefield. All right. So if you get shot, it's like, oh, I'm good. Give me some of that CBD. I'm good. I'm good. And you go back out. No, it's not. No, no, no. You need to see big pharma. You need to. I had a customer who came in. She bought the sports gel. She came back a week later. She's like, all right, this isn't really helping me out. But when she came in the second time, she came in dressed badass. She was all black leather with a black leather helmet, to find out that when she's riding her motorcycle, she favors the right side. She seems to lean a
Mhm.
lot on the right. Ended up having a rotator cuff issue. And no, so now you
Mhm.
need big pharma. You need big pharma. This is something more for post healing, not
Mhm. Yep.
pre. Not if you're
The
bleeding
road
out.
to healing.
Yeah, if you're bleeding out, you need to see the big man. You got to go to the doctor.
Exactly.
Okay, CBD is
You
not going
can't
to
put
help
a
you that
band-aid
way.
on this one.
Suture it big time, but no, for post operation wise, it works out great. It's phenomenal. So my light just went out of my car. I hope I didn't kill my battery. I have a hybrid. Hybrids are great, but my hybrid isn't a plug-in. It's gas. So I hope I didn't. So I'm gonna do it like this, so I don't scare myself here. So yeah, I've been in business now 2 years, and
Mm,
the goal is, guys, is my bricks and mortar, my storefront would have the products. You guys would have a place to go to. It's vetted.
mhm,
I work with guys that are licensed to sell. One of them is called Spartan Hempworks, an owner of David Ayers. This guy's out of East Longmeadow. He does a phenomenal
mhm,
job. And so he sells the dispensaries. And then I also sell Western Mass CBD. And that's another product as well, all vetted. And there's no additives and preservatives, just to throw it out there. Everything is all natural products. And I'm excited about it. It's just a bit of an uphill climb in terms of the storefront, So,
mm.
but if you guys want to stop by, I wish I can give you a website. I don't have a website. I've been going through my drama with it being infiltrated. So for right now, guys, you can shoot me any questions if you're interested at all in this at sales at compandasmartshop.com. Sales at compandasmartshop.com. And that's until further notice. So, yeah, that's about it. I appreciate you giving me the platform to
Yeah,
showcase what I
I
do.
really, yeah, I really want to thank you. Because last time when me and KOJ, shout out to KOJ, came out, um, we did a couple things and put up a couple videos, and we expanded, and some people came in. We got few subscribers here and there, and our platform did expand. So I believe in reciprocation. As I told you when I came last time, I was gonna give you the opportunity to come on. Not only come on now,
Mhm.
but we're gonna do a lot of projects. Moving forward towards the future. Especially when I get a camera and a laptop. When I start to expand, especially when it gets bigger. You're gonna definitely give you more opportunities to be on the platform because I really I like your your fighting spirit. Like you might I don't know if you ever remember I don't know if you remember those three Rocky movies back in the day. You remind me of the trainer. You remember that? Remember that guy
Oh,
who always
Mick.
telling
Oh, my
t-
Mick.
yeah, remember the fat guy that used to always tell him, you gotta train.
Oh, my God. Nah, yeah. Yeah, there was a whole
Oh
bunch
my
of us that could fall into that category that day.
god.
Yeah. So, but no, no, this is cool. I mean, this is the first time I'm actually doing this, so this is
Mhm.
different for me. So sitting in the car here, I'm just waiting for my kid to come out of her rehearsals
Yeah,
right now. So
yeah,
yeah,
you
real
have
exciting.
you have a never quit attitude. I like that.
I
Uh,
appreciate that. I
yeah,
feel Mhm.
a lot of people was, they go through certain situation. They're ready to quit. They're ready to throw in the towel. They're ready to jump off a building. They're having depressions. Everybody going through a situation. There's no problem going through a situation, but at the end of the day, I respect, a person with a fighting spirit, man. You going through a burning building, people trying to get rid of you. That's tough to go through and still want to fight at the end of the day. You're a special person, man.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. A lot of my colleagues in that office, we all survived, so they're pressing forward. Um, Sujo, I call him out a lot because I'd have to
Mhm,
say he's done exceptional because he's more international. He's from
mhm,
overseas originally, and he was
mhm,
here 1 year prior to that event. So
mhm,
he's what's it called? YouCanFreeUs.org. I believe it's called, and
Mm-hmm.
he's just trying to get a voice out there to stop this human trafficking that's been going on. And
Yeah.
so folks are, if anything, he's a Rocky himself. My man was caught in the tower too when it was coming down. Him and one
Okay.
other guy miraculously got out, and so yeah, he he's very religious as well. It's Christian. It's his faith. Christianity is his faith. So he credits yelling out the name of Jesus as a shield. As the building came down, you might have seen, if you've seen a picture of a guy covered from head to toe in soot,
Okay.
most and pretty slender guy. That's I believe that, if I remember, that's Sujo's picture. Because
Mm.
there's a bunch of pictures in Time magazine, and
Oh,
some
that's
guy,
pretty cool.
yeah, some guy stood on Fulton Street, for example,
Hmm.
and took pictures of us running. And my wife's
Wow,
cousin,
that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, my wife's cousin found it 7 years later. Maybe I can pull this out. She found it 7 years later. When she showed it to me, I transported back to that moment instantly. Instantly, it took me back, and it's just it's in Time magazine. We're all running for our lives, and I guess this must have been an experienced photographer in the war or something, because he just. So this is the picture
Yeah, there
here.
was a lot. There was a lot of cameras downtown at that time. A lot of cameras. Actually, when I remember I was telling you I was in New York that day, and
Mm,
I was in middle school, and I remember everything that happened that day. And basically, I came home early, 12 o'clock. We all came home. We rode the bus by ourselves. There's only the bus driver on the bus, and that was a city bus. That
right.
wasn't no school bus. So that there's when you see a bus is empty in New York City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was.
So
It was very surreal. Definitely something out of a movie.
yeah.
It was. So. But yeah, it's not something I've discussed openly like this. I've done like one-on-one conversations over the past 2 decades, and it's taken this long, as long as YouTube has been out. I put something together last year, but I guess with my limited experience and knowledge with today's technology, I feel like I'm losing my grip, like my parents were losing their grip with music back in the day. It's like, Ma, you're
Yeah.
so old. That's where I'm at now with technology. It's like, holy shit, it's
Well,
gonna age me out, technology.
technology is blowing past us, man. They got robots now. They got all these
It's
sci-fi
fashion.
stuff.
It's like fashion to me. It really is. I mean, these guys are constantly, there's something new. There's a new phone. There's a new blue, a new black, a new brown for the fall, and softwares and everything else. And then you've got AI, which you just touched on, with artificial intelligence, and that's blowing up also. So a lot has changed
You remember?
in
I don't know if
these
you remember.
22 years.
I don't know if you remember this. You remember Terminator 3?
Uh Vaguely. I have one and two, but
According to my
three,
memory, it was Terminator 1, Terminator 2,
mhm,
and Terminator 3.
right?
I'm not 100% sure if there's a fourth Terminator, but I'm gonna show you one thing. You remember the time that there was a Terminator where um they had the war against this. They had to fight against all the machines. You remember that?
You're not talking about the one with Christian Bale, right? Is that the
Yeah,
one?
when it was
I
a
have to look
girl,
that
when
up.
there was a girl, the mother, and the son in Terminator, and they were fighting
Oh, right,
against, and what they were doing is that
right.
the Terminator was trying to get him to survive the other machine that's trying to kill him, because what happened is that he ended up destroying the machine army in the future. So they wanted to
Mhm.
get rid of him. The dark side wanted to get rid of him, and the mother and the Terminator try to stop that. You remember that?
You know what? I'm looking at it now. I've never seen Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. I never saw that.
But
Yeah, I
you know
never.
what happened? What happened is the Terminator 1 and 2 gave us kind of hints about Terminator 3. It
Hmm.
can give us, like, of the future. I don't know if you remember. You remember George Orwell and all them books that he wrote.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Basically, those books were like windows into the future in a sense. Because me personally, when I first was coming up as a kid, I thought this stuff was just you know fiction. That's what I thought. But coming to see as an adult, actually, we're actually witnessing with our own eyes. We're not. We This is not. We don't have to go around and claim. We can witness this with our own eyes.
Well, I'll do you one better since we're talking about Schwarzenegger, right?
Uh huh.
How, something called the Running Man. This was in the '80s, and
Uh
basically with what's going on now, where your image can be hijacked and your voice
huh.
can be hijacked and superimposed.
Yep. Uh
Remember they Joe Rogan and Dr. Oz, their image was hijacked. That they were selling products, and they had no idea they were selling products because it wasn't them. You know,
They
it
didn't
was
consent to it.
no, that their image and their voice were stolen. And so
Wow.
so that's the whole point of this AI. This is pretty so Running Man, or the Running Man, he's just a helicopter. There's protesters. They order him to shoot the protesters. It's like an Apache helicopter, one of those attack helicopters. And he's like, "No, I will not do it." And
Wow.
so he
That's
flies
crazy.
off. So they send another Apache helicopter, and they have that pilot maul down everybody. And then they superimpose his face and his voice onto that, and then had him looking like he was mauling down everyone. And then he was thrown in jail because
Wow.
the Running Man is about prisoners that are thrown in a game that's a death match. And so you can survive as a prisoner and be treated like you're the Rock, or, one of those big time wrestling celebrities. And as
Uh
long as you stay alive, because you'll be put back out there to take on the next contestants. And those guys have to get through you, the champions. And so if you get through the champions, you become a champion and you stay there. And now you take and you kill off the next contestants coming up. So you have to watch the movie. It's a pretty interesting interesting game, but I'm referencing that because of the technology involved that they're using, and then on
huh.
top of that, you've got the whole world of
I
entertainment.
don't know if you know. I don't know if you have you traveled to the airport since I don't know in the last few years. I don't know if you
No.
know. We're doing back in the day when they used to have to take out your passport. You have to show them your passport, and they put a
Hmm.
stamp in your passport.
Hmm.
You don't have to do that no more. They got this like it's like a screen, and you put your face up against it and scan your face, and then on the thing it says if it's turning green, that means you're clear. That means something wrong with your paperwork. I don't know if you haven't been to the airport lately. You haven't
No, I
traveled
just heard.
in the
No,
last.
not lately. Not lately.
Oh,
No,
okay. Yeah, I
not for a
traveled.
while.
I traveled in November. I traveled back home to Jamaica in November to go see my
Hmm.
daughter. But
Nice.
yeah, yeah, the
Jamaica. Blood
machines the
fire.
machines are really taking over, man. It's
Well,
getting serious.
I was talking with a passenger, and I was like, before you know it, I won't be the driver any longer. It'll be some
Yeah, yeah, that's
machine
true.
driving you
They're
around.
the AI is taking over the Uber and Lyft and all that because for example, those companies they don't have to pay as much money
Money.
for the machines.
No, it'll be just like an automated McDonald's. You just have to
Exactly. That's exactly how fast
you
food are
just hire an
becoming.
engineer. You just hire an engineer to maintain it, to make sure everything is working, everything is oiled, whatever. The
Exactly.
algorithms are in place, and then bam,
Exactly.
there's your burger. Because I think a McDonald's opened up in Texas, San Antonio, I think, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all machine. You have a
What?
robot rolling out your food. Yeah, that happened like
So
several months
people
ago, I
trust
think, if
that?
I'm right. Say again?
People trust that?
Well, I mean, you're figuring your food is coming from like the microwaves and stuff like that, right? So the only difference is you got humans that are trying to wrapping it up and putting it together for you, and many times they're not even getting the order right. So now you're figuring now this machine, it's it's going to listen to every little word, and but even machines make mistakes. We all know this. So I guess
Mhm.
it's going to be a growing pain. We'll find out how efficient and how cost effective something like that is by taking the
Mm.
human aspect out of this. Because I think there's certain
Wow.
things that human beings have to be a part of, and I think your
No, but
food.
there's certain things that machines can't do. Like for example, I'm gonna let you know something. I know 100% sure machines can't do these things. Number one thing machines can't do.
Mm.
Machines cannot reproduce other humans. Machines can't do that.
No,
Machines
but they
don't
can be
have
sex dolls.
machines don't have empathy. They don't have
No, but they
the
can be
ability
sex
to show
dolls.
empathy. They don't have that. And the third thing that machines cannot do, machines cannot differentiate from uh enemy from friendly. They don't differentiate difference.
No, no, no. That last part, I have to debate that one because
Does
is it Boston Dynamics? Is it that they're the ones that have that?
Oh, you're talking
Um,
about the military creating those military robots? I've been
right,
watching
guy
them.
stands right in front of it and it doesn't fire, and then he moves to the side. You see this thing firing violently. Then he jumps back in front of it and it doesn't fire any longer. So it's just a matter of time when there's an oops, a malfunction, you know.
Well,
But it's happening.
I don't
Not
know
in
if
our
you heard. I
lifetime,
don't
but
know
it's
if you
going to
heard what
happen.
happened in Japan. They created robots in Japan. You know what they had to do? They created them underground, and the
Mhm.
robots got real sophisticated. They had to literally blow up the entire underground because they were
You
getting
sure
so
it's not a
smart
video
and
game you playing?
intelligent. They were actually rebuilding themselves.
You sure it's not a video game you playing?
Nah, that is not. It's not.
That
That's
sounds
not
like a
no video.
video game.
That's not.
It sounds like a
That's not
floppy
no
video
video.
game.
I
That's for
wish it
real.
was a video game. Then I could, we could laugh about it. We could joke about it. But
That's for
this is
real.
serious
You got
stuff.
a lab in underground Japan where they're making like these what robot cyborgs or something,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
and
Yep. Yep.
something malfunctioned and they were revolting and
Yep. Yep. They
interesting.
were revolting, and then they had to hit the kill switch on all the robots. But they did hit the kill switch on all the robots. But all the robots was trying to rebuild themselves. I'm like, that's how you know that we messed up right there. We messed up big time.
Well, like old boy said in Jurassic Park, right? Life will find a way, and I guess for something like that, it's considered life, even though it's artificial and it's circuits and stuff like that. It's I don't know. I mean, look at us. I think we're a sophisticated piece of equipment. We are,
Mm.
and then we do break down like every other thing breaks down, right? Everything breaks down after a
So
while.
what do you think
These
about?
things.
So what do you think about this Draymond situation? His I think his I think he's kind of sporadic in his behavior. It's like one minute he's happy, next minute he's upset, next minute he want to fight, next minute he want to take it outside. What do you think? That behavior comes from somewhere.
Well, I'm just gonna go on a stretch here. First off, I'm not licensed in any kind of medicine. I'm not a doctor. All right. Um, so I just feel based off of past events with other athletes in the past 30 years, he could be suffering from something in the head. Um, there might be something where, like in Aaron Hernandez, you kind of scratch your head and wonder why people do what they do.
Hmm.
And they're in such a position where so many of us wish we weren't in. And, Aaron Hernandez, just talking about him real quick, he's a good looking guy. I was
Mm.
very talented on the field.
Yep.
And you like listening, like, what's with all this craziness going on? And then you look at John Morant last season with the whole gun thing, and then you see pictures of his upbringing. My man was so preppable. Everything is like there was nothing gangster
Well,
about him.
I personally think John Moran's situation. John Moran is just looking for attention. He want to hang out with the crowd.
Well, I'm hoping
By him
that's it.
not being in the hood, being from the hood, he want to be about that life because people are testing him and saying, "Yo, John Moran, man, you were in the prep school. You soft. You weak." That's why
Well, I'm
he's trying
hoping
to
that
do that.
is the
That's
case
why
for
he's
him.
trying to do the most to prove to everybody that he about that life.
Yeah, but I referenced him because you kind of scratch your head on certain things like behaviors, uh, actions that certain people, celebrities take. Like Winona Ryder, I was talking with the wife about. I don't know, we were
Hmm.
just talking about it and wonder why certain people do what they do. And Winona Ryder was klepto. She got caught for shoplifting. And you're like, why are you doing that, girl? You like, don't you have money? I mean, things are that rough for you. And it was just a rush for her. And so, some people you kind of wonder, but with Draymond, because of his continued angst, to me, sometimes I feel when I'm watching him playing that he's on the court and he feels like no matter how long
But
in his short career success that he's garnered, he's still not given the respect to give him that foul call. You know,
you ever
for a
look?
reason.
It's always been fights in the NBA, even from the '90s all the way back. But the way how Draymond, it's almost like Draymond be taking stuff personal sometimes. Like he wanna beat a person up. He wanna stomp a person out. Like he bringing the street actually into the NBA. He the first dude I ever see bring the street into the NBA because
Well,
I ain't never seen nobody do nothing like
well,
that.
actually, the one I remember, the one who brought the street, but not like that, was Iverson. Because I remember the
Well,
NBA
Iverson
was.
was style.
That's what
Iverson,
I
he
mean.
brought the
That's what I mean.
hairstyle and it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I grew up in East Harlem, and even though it was
But
like,
Iverson will beat a person's ass though. Don't get it twisted. But he's not about that. He's not trying to bring drama. He ain't that type of person.
no, 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 no. But I'm saying, yeah, but in reference to the street, what you were saying, bringing it to the court, unless that's something that the league is looking for, but he gets punished for it, and he gets suspended and all that. So
Yeah, but
I don't think
everybody
it's
else fights in the NBA. Is
not like him though.
fighting in the NBA is not is this is not something that just started last week. But
No,
the
no,
thing
no, no.
about
Yeah.
Draymond is that he taking stuff personal. If a person foul you in the NBA, just take it as a regular foul. Don't
Oh,
bring the
you know what? We
you
can
gonna
talk
beat a
about
person
that.
up. You gonna catch
We
him in
can
the
talk about that
parking
all
lot.
day because like Kevin Durant, when he came out of Texas, right, in
Uh-huh,
college, he was quiet.
uh-huh,
My man was walking around with a backpack, looking like some kind of Jehovah Witness or something, with his backpack all the time, right? And
uh-huh,
I loved his game. He was quiet. He was a lethal assassin. And then he started
uh-huh,
he started complaining about fouls. And I notice a lot of players do that. All they do is complain, why didn't I get the foul? Instead of running back and playing D, they'll look at the ref and be grabbing their wrists, like, where's the foul? Where's the foul? And a lot of
uh-huh,
times it's chippy. I remember playing basketball, street ball,
uh-huh.
and you literally had to almost like knock the guy down to have it called a foul. But then I remember guys that you can hardly touch them, and they were calling a foul. Had I known that was the future of the NBA, man, I probably would have put bets on it, invested in it, because the game has changed to that. You breathe on somebody and you get called a foul.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then if you
Nowadays,
right, right. And
nowadays you get close to a person as a foul.
so now, lately, in this season at least now, when you're taking a three, now you can't kick the leg out to draw the foul. Remember, you were able back a few years
Yeah,
now,
back in the day.
you can throw the leg out, the kick, and it look like you got fouled. Now it's that's an offensive foul, I believe, right? So
But I don't know if you noticed, but since I don't know if you noticed, since Shaq was a basketball player, they created some special rules that you can't even do certain things. Like you can't dunk anymore and break the backboard. You can't pull the board down.
no, but
Like they made some like big rules.
yeah, I don't know. I think there's certain rules that they should have kept. I notice now the scores are ridiculous. 134 to 127. I'm like, what the hell is that? That's all-star
I
game
personally think
scores.
that's because of the calls. penalize people for getting physical, that means less. So that means people have the opportunity to shoot, and more
saw
shooting, more
I saw a
points.
meme. I saw a meme earlier that was put out by the NBA on Facebook. I'm old
Hmm.
school like that. Facebook. That's
Hmm.
right, guys. All right, and it had on the top Carmelo and Shaq. All diesel. You see Carmelo flexing and everything, and then
Hmm.
below, and below you see what's his name from Oklahoma City, the number one pick last year, that the year before that got hurt, and Wemby,
Hmm.
with San Antonio. The other one, oh my God, what's his name, man? People help me out. So,
Um.
so it was funny to see those two big guys on the top part of the picture, and below you see
Hmm.
Wemby, an old boy from OKC.
Hmm.
And they're both skinny. Nobody is in the paint, and they all can shoot and dribble. Where Carmelo and Shaq couldn't shoot and dribble for nothing.
Yeah.
Carmelo has all those points, and John Stockton has all those assists because of the pick and roll those two had. They had the perfect pick and roll. That that Carmelo is what, number two, number three all time in scoring, and John Stockton is he still number one all time in assists? And, and
Probably.
that's
I'm
because
not
of the
100.
pick and
I didn't
roll.
check the stats in a long time.
But that's the pick and roll, and Carmelo was huge. That man was massive. But now all the tall guys are like they're basically brooms. It's just a
Well, they
bunch of
can't. They
brooms.
can't. They can't do what they used to do. You remember all that big man stuff that Shaq used to do? They put some rules in place. He can't be that. Like I don't know if you remember back in the days when he used to go all, like he used to do all that. He used to jump
Mhm.
on top of people. He used to smash the woodwork. He used to bring down all that stuff he used to do back then. They put rules to stop big men from doing that. So big men nowadays are dropping threes. The most they could do is block a ball. They could block. They could block your shot, but they can't
Right.
do what Shaq used to do. Shaq messed it up for every big man out there.
Well,
There's
yeah, I
one
guess
time in
it's.
NBA you could actually be a big man and just dominate and beat people up, but you can't do that no more because of Shaq.
Well, I don't know, because the thing is, what's interesting to me is that game, as quiet as it has become, which is
Hmm.
the big man in the paint. The last guy that I saw that had beautiful footwork, the last big man that came from that era, was Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum with the Lakers when they won with Kobe, when they had Kobe in the lineup with Lamar Odom, um, Miller. What's his name? Is it Miller? And
Oh, Von
just
Miller.
no, no, no. So sorry, I don't have a whole list in front of me, but he kind of, yeah, he won with him. But the game, to me, Andrew Bynum's game was beautiful in the paint, aside from his head case situation. And after that, I never saw footwork like that again. What, Dwight Howard? And Dwight Howard was. I still think he's like a
I'm
guy that
scared
can
of Dwight
dance with no
Howard, bro.
rhythm.
I'm scared of him.
But he's like a guy who can dance with no rhythm. When I look at
But
Dwight
Dwight
Howard,
Howard is massive, man.
he is, but he's like a guy who can dance with no rhythm. What I mean is he can play ball, but to me, he wasn't like he didn't have the footwork that Olajuwon had. If
Yeah,
anything,
but that dude is like
he
uh,
had the presence. He had the presence that
Howard.
Shaq
Howard
had.
was like a skinny Shaq.
That's what I was gonna say. He had the presence that Shaq had. He dominate. He grabbing rebounds, blocking shots, and things like that. And you had Dwight Howard. I think he was a scoring champ one season, if I'm right.
Yeah, he was.
And
I think he was 2-time defensive player of the year too.
yeah, so defensively, grabbing rebounds, he was phenomenal, phenomenal. But he didn't have the kind of footwork that
But another thing
Bynum
too,
and
Dwight Howard be bullying people too. So that's another part of Shaq that
yeah.
you know he
Well, look,
also has.
they just want scoring. Apparently, the girls dig the home run, and so apparently the girls dig the 3-point shot. So
Mm.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
and
else to
another
say.
thing too. Chris. Stefan Curry, he's the one who made that like more and more popular because and nobody be shooting from half court, and trying to get that three shot back in the day, like in the 90s and 80s. Nobody cared about that.
Right.
Now he
Right.
made it really, really popular.
Yeah. Yeah. So popular that you got guys like Wemby, who's who would mind shooting all day from the outside.
Yeah, because back
Side
in
of
the day, people wanted to get inside the woodwork. People want to jump over dudes, dunk on dudes, and see dudes on the floor and like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But nowadays, people don't want to do that no more.
No, I mean, I remember in the early days when teams were physical and Miami Heat and the Knicks went at each other, and you see Van Gundy in the middle of it hanging on to Alonzo Mourning's leg. That was like the funniest thing in the world. Um, it was very physical in those days, and I don't know. As a
Yeah,
fan,
it was
I,
basically street ball.
I did
That's
enjoy
the
it.
same
I
thing
thought,
that's the same thing Draymond trying to do to the NBA right now. He trying to play street ball in the NBA.
yeah, but he's sticking out as just like a sore thumb because no one else is playing like him, and if they are, they're just comparing him to
but
Draymond Green.
I don't know if you ever watch this thing. You can go online and search it up. N1 from the 90s.
Yeah,
N1 is street ball.
yeah, I remember.
Basically, like if you he's doing stuff that in the NBA that we used to do in street ball. If somebody dunk on you in street ball and you end up falling on the floor, it's a
Hmm.
possibility you might get stepped on. It's a good
Hmm.
possibility. That's the type of ball that Draymond's playing, but I don't know. I don't know if he realized the way he at or he just don't care.
I think he's also marketing himself, but he's kind of playing with fire by marketing himself in this way. I mean, this is a far
Mm.
stretch what I'm speculating because I really don't know. But the one I feel, the one I feel that could be it is that he's not garnering. He feels that he's not getting the respect that he should get, um, being the ball player that he is. So he's not getting the foul calls that he should get. That's what I notice when I see him play. And I feel like as the game progresses, he gets angrier and angrier because he sees
So
other
so
guys
so he
getting away
believes
with the
that he gonna get
call.
respect by beating people up.
No, no, I'm not saying that what he's doing is right. What I'm saying is that could be a possibility with everything with foul calling. Because look how many players complain. Jason Tatum, I watch, and he'll complain
But
about
look
not
at
getting called a
LeBron. He
foul.
complain all the time, but he don't get all the
Oh,
calls.
we can talk about LeBron all the time. All I know is when I watched Jordan play back in the day, I didn't see him complain when Rick Mahorn or Bill Lambier threw him to the ground when they played
But
Detroit.
but I don't know if
Detroit
y'all
had the Jordan
realize. I don't
rules.
know if y'all
You
remember
remember they had
this.
the Jordan
Back in the
rules.
'80s, the Pistons used to beat the living daylights out of Jordan.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
It
And
was like
so
a
so
gang, man. The Piston became a gang back in the '80s.
so they changed the rules because of the whole Jordan thing because they didn't want anyone to get hurt, especially Jordan. Because remember, David Stern is marketing the NBA. The NBA was boring in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So he needed something. So Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were doing the best they can going back and forth. But when Jordan came in, he made it spectacular with his athletic
Mm-hmm.
ability.
Mm-hmm.
And so David Stern saw
But I,
this.
I don't I don't I don't think I don't to be honest, I don't really think the NBA was boring in the '70s. It's because reason why people say it's boring is because when you have one team dominating everything, that's when it gets boring.
You
Because
mean
the
like the
Celtics,
Celtics
the
in the
Celtics and the
50s and
Lakers were
60s?
dominating everything.
Yeah, in the 50s and 60s, you had the Celtics.
Hmm.
Then you had some of the Lakers, right?
Yeah, the
And
Lakers came and start take back everything. But when there's only two teams in the entire league just winning, it's become corny sometimes. Like for
so,
example, I watch soccer, right?
mhm.
You have a league in Europe. You have the German league. In the entire German league, you have one team dominating the entire league. Bayern Munich. They win. They got like 25 to 30 championships. Everybody has like one or two championships or three.
Mhm.
That to me that's boring. That's like it, that. Baseball was like that back in the day when the Yankees used to run everything. You know, I don't like when one team dominating everything. I don't like that. One or two teams. I don't like
Well,
that. I like
we
when it's
we've got
competitive.
my Yankees have got 27 titles, right? Now, we haven't won anything since '09. So, but the Yankees have been around for over 100 years. And so,
Yep.
but then you have a lot of other teams like the Red Sox that are just as old and they don't have as close as many World Series. But
Mm-hmm.
this century, the Red Sox have bragging rights over us where they've got 4 World Series over our one. And
Yep.
I don't know. It's just 10 years time. Who dominates baseball? Like I guess that's why football is so many people love football because every year you're going to find a new team in the Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl. It's very difficult to repeat in that sport.
My,
Very
my my
difficult.
favorite team right now that I'm following is the Colorado Buffaloes on in college. That's the team I'm following right now because they have Deion
With the
Sanders as
prime
their
time,
coach. Yeah, I love me some prime time, man. I love me some prime. Yeah,
the
man, he's
guy
a real cool dude, man. Real cool dude.
he's very passionate because I remember him as a
Yep.
Yankee. The
Mm-hmm.
guy's passionate. He's
Yep.
he gets in there. He'll
He,
mix it up.
I, I,
He
I
has the
love, I
ability
love him,
too,
man. He's
man.
a winner.
Yeah.
He's a winner, man.
Yep.
He
So I
doesn't.
think his son's going to do well.
One thing I respect about Prime. Prime can't. He can't be on a team and just settle for less. He can't do that. Especially when he was on the Falcons. Yo, like when a guy missed a play or a guy missed the ball or the guy wasn't on his game, he got really ticked off. And I
Mhm.
respect that because you got a lot of guys on these different NBA teams. I'm not saying no names. They're putting in 50% of effort while another guy's putting 100% effort, and it's bringing the whole team down. I'm
Well,
not
we can
throwing no
talk about
shade.
that. We can talk about that at your job, right, ladies and gentlemen? Right, your job. How many of you are playing like Jordan, and how many of those others are playing like oh my God, what's his name? Um, Rookie of the Year that the Nets have, Simmons, right? So you wonder, like, y- you make the NBA, you would think everybody is that good, obviously, and everyone has the same conviction they want to win, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like a lot of them, once they
Mhm.
get to the NBA, now they're comfortable. They got a paycheck. Yeah, I'm comfortable, and that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I'm
I
not.
think that's why I starting to fall. Me personally, I starting to fall in love with college because in the college thing, they got to work hard to get to where they want to get to. Then uh, they're not just gonna wake up one morning and everything gonna be handed to them.
Well, right now
They
for
got to go
college
and get it.
basketball, yeah, right
They
now
got
my
to go and
understanding
get that.
you're right. My understanding for college basketball or basketball in general, anyone who's talented, you don't have to rely on college now because you can go overseas if you're that good, and you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
play
yeah, yeah,
overseas.
yeah.
You can get paid, and then enter your name in the draft. That's happened a couple of times. So you don't have to go through college to get to the NBA. You can just go that route. And so it's changed because remember this whole name, image, and likeness business is taken over.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
Right now in football,
mhm.
in college football, they're making a lot of bread. I don't know if you know, but there's this kid called Shadur Sanders. That's Primetime's son, the quarterback. He
Uh-huh.
has 4 million NIL deals. Um, Travis Hunter, which is Shadur Sanders and Deion Sanders. They're basically like his mentor.
Hmm.
He has his NILs like I would say like his. I don't know the exact number, but I would say estimate like 5 million. But he's the first college player in college history to get a partnership deal.
Hmm.
All the other NILs are basically like you sign that contract and they give you a certain amount of percentage, and that contract and agreement you have to abide by it. But a partnership deal is something different. A partnership deal is something like you both come together and agree to certain terms,
Hmm.
and only both parties can terminate that agreement. Like when he's a partnership deal, they can't kick him out. Like for
Hmm.
example, you remember when Kanye started talking crazy, and Adidas
Hmm.
kicked him to the curb.
Hmm.
He reason why Adidas can kick him to the curb because he was a person that was invested in it, and he signed to the dotted line, but he wasn't the owner. When you're a partner and the owner, a person can't just wake up one morning and just kick you out because you're owning your value. Nobody can just say, "Oh, you can't be a part of this anymore." Both party has to come in a mutual agreement to separate, and then whatever is earned has to be split down the middle between both parties. You can't just take everything for yourself.
Well, it's
But
a real shame to see that now. I only say that because so many have money under the table, real quiet, everything quiet. And once they find out, oh well, we got to take the money back, or we got to take your title, whatever the case is. And here we are now. But that's the O'Bannon brothers. The O'Bannon brothers. Listen, I remember these guys when they played at UCLA, and I remember, if I'm correct, Sega Genesis. I'm playing NCAA game, if I'm correct on this.
mhm.
And oh my God, the likeness of the O'Bannon brothers was uncanny on this video game. The shape of their bodies, the shape of their bald heads, the way they moved and dribbled. I'm like, damn, these guys look exactly like them. That it actually motivated them to say, "Whoa, time out. You guys are using our likeness, but we're not getting a penny for it. And if you do pay us,
Exactly.
then it ruins our opportunity to go into finishing off college and going into the pros." So they sued who they needed to sue, and it took I think 2 decades, if I'm right, for NIL to take form. So you can thank the O'Bannon brothers for that, but so many athletes got burnt, man. It's a real shame. That yeah, we're excited about
Mm,
what's going on now, but then how many of those guys in the past are reading this stuff and they're like, what the f? Here I am doing whatever, and I didn't get to fulfill my dream because I got thrown out because I took a few $100s or a few $1,000s. And but meanwhile, while you're at the school, you can skip the chow line and you can eat as much lunch and dinner as you want. Did you know that? We visited this my oldest daughter. We went to Quinnipiac and we're given a
mhm.
tour. And they're like, oh, and so we're in the cafeteria, nice cafeteria. And for some reason, she just felt inclined to say, and the athletes, because they're Division 1 college. And
Mhm.
so you're a Division 1 athlete, you get to skip the line as much as you want. You don't stand on lines. the privilege, the privilege.
Yeah,
Forget
yeah, they do
NIL.
get a lot of privilege in those colleges.
That's right. Forget NIL, man. You're skipping a line for lunch.
And
Yo, stay
another
in the
thing
back.
too, I don't know if you know what's going on too. A lot of the athletes, they actually stay home and take the classes online. They don't actually
Yeah.
go to campus.
Yeah, those days are over, man. That's all BS. Where you have to go to class and you have to do your part.
Yeah, they don't have
If
to
you're
go
a
to
student
class now.
athlete, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these kids that are talented on the basketball court that don't have the brain power and the patience to sit in the classroom, they need to go overseas and take their talents overseas and play ball, get paid while they're doing it, market themselves, and then throw their name in the draft and see if they come out here.
Tha- and and
That's it.
um, that
If you're
and that's
smart,
what
you're smart. You go to Duke, you go to whatever.
Deion Sanders, Coach Prime's son, did. He actually created his own brand called Legendary.
Yeah, they're all going to do it. And now
Mm-hmm.
the shape of basketball is really changing because my generation, that goes for teams. Like I'm from New York, so I'm gonna root basically for the Knicks. And now that we've got the Nets, I'm like, screw it, I'm rooting for the Nets too. Why not? We need a title desperately in that city. But but now these kids are turning around and they're not rooting for teams; they're rooting for players. So I know a guy
Exactly.
that'll follow Durant no matter what team he goes to. I love Durant. I love Durant. I don't care who he goes to. I don't care. I'm like, but what about the teams? I don't care. So because of the marketing, and NBA can do this because NBA, the team, the roster isn't as big as the other sports, unless we're talking tennis or something like that. But all the
Mm-hmm.
others, a larger lineup, a larger roster. So in the NBA, those five players, each of them have an opportunity to market themselves much better, a larger capacity than say someone on a football team because of the amount of players and so on. So because the quarterback, the center, or the offensive lineman is not going to get the same shine as the quarterback.
The quarterback get the most money in
Yeah.
football.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then
yet,
you know the crazy thing, the quarterback doesn't do all the work either. The
mm-mm.
the defense line and the offensive line, and I would say the DBs and the receivers do most of the work.
Look, I believe a quarterback, even though you want to be like a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or actually, let's talk about the guys of today, right?
Hmm.
Purdy, or
Hmm.
Lamar Jackson. You,
Hmm.
there's still leadership qualities. You can run your tail off. You can throw it sideways, looking this way, your underarm, whatever. But if your leadership isn't there, you're not going anywhere, and that's why you kind of wonder about Dak Prescott. The guy can ball, but where's his leadership when the shit hits the fan? Meaning playoff.
What team is he part of again?
He's with the Cowboys. He's with,
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, the Cowboys really did, this playoff they really bombed, man. Really.
wonder what's going on with, is it leadership? Is this something that they're lacking? Because then you look at Tom Brady. Now you look at this guy, and you look at the score against the Atlanta Falcons in that Super Bowl, and it was
But
like
at the
20.
same time, I don't really think you can compare Tom Brady to any other quarterback. It's like comparing Jordan to any other regular basketball player. It's not fair,
Oh,
man. It's like
here, oh,
you
this
can't
is where
compare the goat to another person, man. It's just
well
not fair.
in football it's a little bit different because right now, as much as we want to say that Tom Brady's a goat, he had some kryptonite, and kryptonite called Eli Manning. My man Eli, I'm a
Yeah,
giant.
yeah. At the
My man
same time,
Eli,
though, I kind of give. I'm gonna keep it real with you. We're not,
leadership.
when I say Tom Brady's a goat, I'm not saying that he's better than every football player. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like he played to a level where other guys can't really reach his accolade. If you go stat to stat, Eli Manning beat Tom Brady on the field. But to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you put Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, if you put Brady's stats against them, even the both of the brothers, they don't really add up to to Brady because Brady's on another
Yeah,
universe. He's
I'm
like
not
a
talking,
freak of nature.
but I'm not talking stats. I'm talking simply leadership. Leadership. Here's an example, and I
Yeah,
know I
there
probably
would. Yeah, I would think that Brady's a good leader, but the thing about it is that the guys that were with Brady were willing to follow Brady to the death. Gronkowski, um, a lot
Edelman.
of the guys came from left New England, came to the Buccaneers, which you know Buccaneers. The last time the Buccaneers actually made noise in the NFL is when Warren Sapp was on the Buccaneers. From those two times, from Tom Brady was on the Buccaneers, from Warren
Mhm.
Sapp was on the Buccaneers to Tom Brady's on the Buccaneers. That's the
Mhm.
only two times the Buccaneers was actually relevant.
Right, right.
After
No,
that, nobody even talk about the Buccaneers.
right, right, and that's leadership. That's the quality that I'm not saying that Tom doesn't have. Tom Brady doesn't have
Yeah,
leadership. What
he
I'm
has leadership, but at the same time, a lot of the teams that he had over the years, I'm gonna
Mhm.
keep it real. They were trash. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you. He had Moss a couple times. He had Edelman. He had Gronkowski. He had a lot of field good players. But the coach now he's really feeling it. Now I don't know if you know this, but
Belichick is actually exposed. I don't know if you know it. He's exposed now
Yeah.
because people realize that all these years this guy's been winning under Tom Brady. You know, secretly disrespecting Tom Brady, and then now he realized people starting to realize so you were you were you were flying under somebody's wing, shining under somebody, and then at the same time you're crapping on the person, and then now you're on your own. You can't fly on your own now. You end up getting fired. I personally think that and the owner, I'm also get on him too. I personally think the owner is not he's not a football person because trust me, if I own a NFL team,
Hmm.
man, I would have tell Tom Brady, you're not stepping foot outside that door, man. No matter how much money you ask, I'll give it to you.
Well, remember
Any person with a brain and a mind,
Robert
I say,
Kraft.
okay, if you get to the place where you say, okay, man, I can't play no more, man. I'm injured. I'm in bad shape. Then I'll say, okay, we'll bring somebody new in. But they should have let that dude play till like 50. Seriously. Because he is the GOAT, bro. All these other quarterbacks are running around here, they're going to play for like 10 to 15 years. The most, I would say 18, 17. But
Yeah.
these guys are not going to last long.
No,
Look,
he's
you see
he.
how long? You see how long really lasts? The
Yeah.
guy's the goat, man. I'm not even
Thing
going.
is,
Joe, I'm gonna tell you something. I used to be the num. I'm a Jets fan. I'm the number one I'm the number one New England hater and Tom Brady hater, bro. I used to hate on them hard. But what I'm
mm,
trying to say is that when I look at what the guy put down on the field, I just gotta put respect on him, man. I can't even hate on it. I
well,
can't even play hate on it.
my thing is the whole point is just it's not about his skill set. It's the leadership skills. Like as crazy as this going to sound, right? Um. So, oh my God, I had it in my head a moment ago, but a lot like again talking about Lamar Jackson and um oh boy with Buffalo.
I think Lamar Jackson is a great leader. You got a point there, but I think that no matter how great leader you are, if your leadership doesn't accomplish great things, it kind of put a downturn on your leadership. Ray Lewis, be- he was a great leader and he accomplished certain things. But I feel like Tom Brady, because of his level of accomplishment and his mindset, he maybe not be the guy that everybody's calling on their phone, that type of guy that everybody love him. He's not that type of guy. He's almost like a Jordan type.
Mhm.
Everybody hated Jordan guts. I don't know if you know that. If you call Pippen on the phone right now, Rodman on the phone right now, all his former players, they hated his guts. But the reason why they hated his guts is because he was stepping on people's tails. He was letting people know, hey, you better go out there and perform. I'm not playing no games with you.
Well, that's leadership, and that's him being uber focused. Not everybody can pull that off, and going
Yeah,
switching.
but he's not he's not the most liked person. People people don't like Jordan right now. He's not, if you put a opinion poll, do people like Jordan? He's not gonna be the most popular player of all time. People don't really Jordan is really not that popular.
Mhm.
He as a person, people don't like him. He was looked at as a jerk. People don't like because he was challenging a lot of people. And
Well,
not
the
only
guys,
he challenged his coach, he
he's
challenged
no
the owner, he challenged the general manager of the Chicago,
right.
and that's leadership. But at the same time, that's what make that's what make him great. He challenged people to become better and it bear good fruit. But that doesn't mean he's the most popular
Mhm.
because people get those two things confused. being a great leader, that doesn't make you a more popular person. It's just like you have the leader of a country. Majority of the time, the leader of the country, not necessarily the most popular person. Um, like we'll say, Taylor Swift is more popular than the leadership. A lot of politicians. You get what I'm trying to say? She's more famous. She's well liked. You get what I'm trying to say? But the leadership is who has who's leading. They don't know nothing about being actual leaders, but it's not a popularity contest really. It's about actually getting the job done, and that's what I respect about Tom Brady. He got the job done, you know. And one thing I like about Tom Brady too, he's not like these other quarterbacks where every 5 minutes they're running off the field, they got an injury, they're crying, they're
Mhm.
weeping. He was the type of person. He was ruthless, man. You tackle one of his players and you go after his team, he's coming for you.
Mhm.
You don't see a lot of quarterbacks with the gravel in their gut, as Johnny Cash will say. Tom Brady is actually tough, man. And I
Yeah.
personally think a lot of those championships that Eli and Peyton Manning won, they were good quarterbacks, but they also had great teams. That's the difference between Brady and those quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks had great players that they were playing with. Those quarterbacks has great teams. Tom Brady could win with trash, and that's another different. That's
No,
another different dynamics.
I
If you
disagree.
can win with trash, that says a lot about you.
He's never had a trash team.
I
He's never.
I personally believe a lot of those New England team was not that good.
No, every year. This guy in 20 years, he's been relevant with that New England team. I'm a
Yes, he's been relevant with the team, but he's the one making the team relevant. For
hold on,
example, I remember one year they had Moss. That year when they had Moss and they went undefeated and they
mhm,
got beat in the Super Bowl by the Giants.
right?
That year, I will say that team was one of the best teams that they had. But a lot of years when they went to the playoffs, when they went to the final, he put that team on his back and carried them.
No, there were some Super Bowls that he was at that the defense clearly was showing up, and when you look at his stats at the end of the game, you're like, "What the hell was that?" Yeah, there was at least
Well,
two Super Bowls,
I believe that
possibly.
he's been outshined a whole bunch of times in the finals. He's been outshined. But I personally believe that like for example, going back to the undefeated season, that team, that Giants team that he faced, there was some formidable. There's some Hall of Famers on that team that he faced in the Giants. Guys that they were at the point where they said we got to get this guy out of there, man. They were literally tackling him. They're trying to really hurt Brady, man. They were trying to get at his throat.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why these guys end up winning that. Cause they rattle that cage and get him off his A game. Cause
Hmm.
Brady is some type of quarterback that if you give him a stable pocket, he's picking you off, man. Why you think primetime son Shooter Sanders, he said anytime he turn on Brady mode, it's like people just teams just get destroyed. That's the level of influence that Tom Brady have over people. And another thing too, he's like one of those quarterback that he spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on his body,
Hmm.
nutritionists, how to take care of his body, how to you know, other quarterbacks is doing some things like that, but they're not at that level. They're not doing it as deep
Hmm.
as how Tom Brady's doing it. That's why he played football for so long. I thought that he was gonna retire in New England, but he really shocked me with that one.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I got to cut this short. I got to run.
Okay.
I
All
got to
right.
run.
So like, share, and subscribe. Salute to Arturo the Survivor. Closing off this section for this tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Good night.
Guys.